Well, friends, I'll tell you one of the things I really miss about old radios, like you see this one sitting back here. Many of them, if you remember the old buttons, you know, you can just like push them and change channels. Well, the new radios, they've still got, you know, but it's silent and everything just perfectly switches from channel to channel, and there's not that needle flying back and forth. And if somebody got long-winded, you could just shut them off like that, and it was totally satisfying to me. Well, speaking of long-winded, some of you, and don't worry, I'm not about to break this one off on you, but some of you are familiar with Who's On First, and that's like probably the most beloved comedy routine of all time. I mean, it has been done so many times, and everybody seems to love it. But the funny thing about that is, to me, is at the end of it, I mean, it goes on and on, and at the end, you're laughing, but you feel like I'm on some crazy ride. I may throw up, make it stop, but everybody loves it anyway. So with that in mind, over the next several minutes, I'd like to show a cross-section of radio. Just what you'd hear if you'd roam around your radio dial at home. We got a funny man who jokes about a lot of other folks. An honest cook who never makes a single error in what he bakes. A sports announcer goes too far as he describes a football star. While one announcer sells a soap that's bound to buoy an old maid's hope. A beauty expert's merchandise, those things beyond the mild surprise. The news announcer spins a tale, a long adventure's lively trail. A little boy, 3 years old, forgets the lines that he's been told. An imitator who declares all animals supply his wares. So just relax while all this flies and make believe before your eyes, and be a wiser person when you tune your radio again. May I ask you a question? It may seem a bit personal, but you only have to answer to yourselves. Is your skin as fresh and soft as the day you were born? If not, you only have yourselves to blame for neglecting to use Barnum's bath soap. When you bathe with Barnum's, your skin will feel like crusts of bread. Now, butter these lightly and cut them into 6 small pieces. Divide them up evenly amongst the dessert dishes, sprinkle on some raisins before you serve them, and you will find that Mary had a little lamb, white as snow. Followed her to school one day, school one day, school. Followed her to school one day, school one day. Followed her to school one day, to pick up his mother-in-law. Now, I know mother-in-law jokes are a little out of fashion, but this one kind of tickled my funny bone. Oh, wait, how do you tickle a person's funny bone? With a feather, of course. So anyway, this mother-in-law has a son-in-law now. Now, all mother-in-laws can run 100 yards in 10 seconds. This is no mean feat in a tracksuit. But when a man can do it in a football uniform, he has what is known as speed. And speed in this man's game is what brings points to the scoreboard, fans to the stadium, and pimples on your face. There was a time not so long ago this was a sign of ill health, but those days are long gone. For with a little care, a little patience, and a jar of our beauty cream, you will soon see the enemy approaching from the rear. The unit was equipped with the latest weaponry, and they had been diligently trained in its deadly use. They spread out over an area several miles wide and began the advance with utmost precaution. I could feel the impending drama that was about to unfold when suddenly a loud noise. Yes, sir, Colonel. Many times I fooled the dogs down on the farm with my imitations. Why, some of them hounds couldn't tell me from their own mothers, and I was really informed. I got a whole list of imitations I like to do for you. I got a duck. I got the cutest little duck that goes, to school one day, school one day, school one day, to take a bath. Barnum's is that kind of a soap. It will agree with your complexion just as a man agrees with his wife, for any man who doesn't agree with his wife deserves to beat the eggs with sugar until light and fluffy. Add milk, mixing well, stir together flour, baking powder, and salt. Add to the first mixture, stirring until the flour disappears. Pour in some melted fat, bake this on a Hickok griddle, and you will have the funniest thing I have seen in a long time. Just the other night, I said to my friend, I said, I'm sorry to laugh at my own jokes, folks, but they are funny. I said to my friend, I said, honey, are you ready? Ready, she asked. You know I'm a blonde. I couldn't be ready. Folks, please don't think that all blondes are to be shot at sunrise. This came as no surprise to the spy, who knew fully well the penalty for being caught within the camp of the enemy. He had one last request, and it was granted. It was a very simple request. He wanted to train for the next Olympic Games when and if they were to be held in this country. This would mean that our boys could and would train in their own climates and not be subjected to the rigors of an ocean voyage, where seasickness would make them... Now, this was the friendliest cow I ever met, and I'll tell you, I have met a lot of cows in my day. Well, one day I was coming up the lane doing imitations. This cow heard me doing an imitation of her. That old girl jumped right over a 6-foot fence and tried shaving with Bonham's bath soap. Have you? If not, you have a treat in store. For the soap that gives you the baby complexion is the soap that will make your beard roll over and behave. It will make your beard peel the apples and place them in a baking pan. Make a syrup by boiling sugar, water, and cinnamon candies for 5 minutes. Pour this over the apples, making certain that the center of the apples are completely filled with syrup. Then rub it in your face with a brisk circular motion. This will make your skin tingle, and you will feel as if a sharp wind were painting rosy cheeks where they ought to be. Our cream is guaranteed to do this. In fact, we will refund your money if you will chill it in the refrigerator until it sets up and cut it into slices. Take the egg white, which you've beaten well, and blend it into cannonballs. But cannonballs were a familiar sight to the people of this war-torn country, for their ancestors had many times told the story of the fight for freedom, of a fight in which cannonballs had left them with 25 cents. This is not too much to pay for the miracles that spring forth from this little jar when the lid is removed. In it you will find joy. In it you will find comfort. In it you will find a touchdown! Ho ho! There it is! No, wait. There's a problem with the play. The officials have gathered for discussion. I wonder if they are going to school one day, to make a noise like a billy goat caught in a bear trap. Now, I can do this last imitation slower and with more feeling like this. Now, you'll notice this last imitation has a certain appeal to it. It practically pleads for better jokes on the radio. I'm all for it, and I have yet failed to hear a comedian who can compare with me. That's right, folks, I'm quick on the trigger. Just give me a word and I'll make up a joke about it. Like, you take the word cat. No, I'll take it. No, you better take it because the two of them wouldn't get along. No, seriously, if you'd like to take a shot at me from the north side of the battlefield. I looked carefully and could see no one. But surely that shot didn't fire itself, no. Somewhere out there in that murky, muddy oblivion, the enemy lay hidden. Would he try again? Would he wait until I made a better target and he couldn't miss? Or would he add prune pulp, which is made by preparing cooked prunes through a sieve? Take this, heap the glasses of custard with prune whip, garnish the whole thing with pistachio nuts and Bonham's bath soap. When I say there is no other soap like it, I say so with all the sincerity at my command. I say so because no one knows it better than I do. I say so because the sponsor is the one who pays my salary. But if you are not fully satisfied, I will refund your money out of my own pocket. I am so certain that you will be pleased, that you will be satisfied, that you will be the town clown. That's what I was called in those days, but I didn't mind. I knew that being funny one day would pay me big dividends. I knew that one day I would crow like a rooster. Yes, sir. Now, barnyard animals are very easy for me to imitate. I can do a hard one like a leopard in a lion's den, or would you rather hear a lion in a leopard's den? That is one of my very hard ones. I generally run into trouble when they start throwing forward passes because the other team has a 6-man line, which gives them 5 men to stand back and intercept the passes. And when they do intercept, they take the ball and mix it well with a cup of lightly warm milk. Then they put this on, mix with the rest of the remaining milk, heat to lukewarm, not hot. Take from the stove and add 1 tiny pinch of Bonham's bath soap. It comes in a variety of colors, in a nice blue that will match the sky above you, in a nice pink that will match the baby's skin, in a nice red that will match some people's faces. Now, they are things comedians use for jokes, but I would never joke about another person's face. Why? Their face could be their fortune, they could be broke forever, so I pick on a papa. Well, I wish I had time to go to school one day, 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 to take a bath. It makes the most dreadful sound at such a time, just like an airplane motor. It makes the most dreadful sound at such a time, just like the referee blowing his whistle. This would nullify the touchdown and revert the score back to school one day, where Bonham's bath soap only costs a nickel. Think of it, a nickel for 5 cents, you can get 4 eggplants in a bar. Well, folks, it looks like it's starting to get a little bit crazy, so I'm finishing everything off by going back to school one day. That's it. Woo. Thank you. Well, folks, I know how it is to be cut off from the restroom, shall we say, and some folks can get a bit of an emergency. So over the next 15 minutes, we will be conducting a test of the emergency broadcast system. That's right. For the next 15 minutes, feel free to get up, walk around, take care of that emergency, go naked through the woods, whatever you feel like. We'll be right back in 15 minutes with more of Greg Moore's Old Time Radio Show. Thanks for sticking around.